Hi everyone, this is Crystal and I am back with week 4 in my 2020 Project Life album. So I have all of my photos printed out. I have quite a few photos this week, 3 4x6 photos, which is pretty unusual for me. So there's not going to be a lot of space to fill it in the pockets, and I don't have a kit that I'm currently working with. So I decided to go through my stash and pull out some things that maybe I hadn't used very much. And I started with this set of journal cards. This is called Around the House. It is from Feed Your Craft, designed by In a Creative Bubble. It's not new. I've had it for quite a while. This is the digital kit, so I just printed out all of the cards that were in the kit. I don't think I've used any of these, and like I said, it is not new. So I've been wanting to use this and just haven't had the opportunity to do so, so I'm excited to use these. So then to coordinate with these cards, I grabbed a couple of alphas. Both of these are clearly used. This is from Pinkverse Studio. It's just a puffy alpha. I love this size of puffy alpha, so I thought that would be good to include. And then to coordinate with that, I have this tiny alpha. It's a tile alpha from Citrus Twist Kits. It has the same kind of teal blue, and this color appears in this kit, so I thought that would work well. And then instead of trying to find a bunch of embellishments, I decided to grab one of my stamp sets from my stash. This is a Heidi Swapp stamp set. I'm not sure if it has a name. I don't see a name on it. And I don't remember what collection this is from. Anyway, there is a look at all of the stamps that are on this set. And then I grabbed 4 different inks that match the colors in this kit. Basically, just use this to match colors. And my plan is to do some stamping and fussy cutting to create embellishments for the spread. So I'm not going to bring in an actual embellishment pack or ephemera pack. I'm just going to try and create my own with this stamp. And then the only other thing that I grabbed was my little bin of labels. These are just a bunch of random labels, mostly from Citrus Twist Kits. These are ones I have left over from the cut-aparts. And then a few, I think these are from Illustrated Faith from a very long time ago. So I just kind of threw them all together, and this is what I use when I need labels for my spreads, which I always do. So I have this, I have my alphas, I have my cards, I have my stamps. I think that should be enough to pull this spread together. If I need to bring in something else, I will do so. So I'm just going to get started and see how it goes. So I'm going to start by just placing my photos down where I think I'll want them. You can see I have 3 black and white photos, 3 color photos, and then a screenshot of a movie that we watched as well. So I was just trying to get a good balance of color on the page and make sure that anything that had similar stories were kind of grouped together. So now I'm going through the cards. Like I said, these are digital cards that I printed at home. If you're curious about how I do that, I do have a video where I talk about how I print at home, and I'll be sure to link that down below. I also have a favorites list of all of my printing supplies on my blog, so I'll link that as well. So I've chosen just 2 cards. I did set 2 aside that I thought I might cut up to create additional embellishments, but I don't end up doing that. I'm going to stick with the stamping. So I have my Heidi Swapp stamp, and I'm grabbing my sand eraser just to make sure that all of these are primed. I don't think I've used this stamp set much before this, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit all of them with my sand eraser just to make sure I get as crisp of an impression as I possibly can. And then my plan is to just fill this cardstock with stamping. So I'm stamping each stamp in multiple colors, multiple times, trying to get a really good impression of each one. This is just Neenah Bright White, plain, non-textured cardstock, so it's super easy to stamp on. So I'm just kind of having fun playing around with colors and playing around with the stamps and seeing what I can create. And once I have this entire sheet filled, then I'll go back and fussy cut the ones that I think are good enough to use. So I am making sure to clean each stamp really well with my stamp chamois. That's from Lawn Fawn. It does a really great job of cleaning off the stamps, making sure that I get them completely clean before switching ink colors so that there's no cross-contamination of colors. Okay, so I don't make you watch this whole process. There you go. There it is, all filled up. And then I'm just going to take my detail scissors and cut up a few of them. And I'm going to fussy cut them like they were die cuts. So it's super easy to do. None of these are very complicated shapes. This is probably the most complicated one, and you can see it goes pretty quickly. I just move the paper instead of the scissors, you know, the old trick, and try and get as close as possible, but I leave a little bit of white space around it, obviously because there's white space in between the words. It looks better to have a little bit of white space on the outside as well, and then that's it. Super easy. So I'm going to do that with all of them, and there they are. And then I'm going to go through my labels and pull out some labels in each of the 4 colors that I've stamped with, or I'm going to try to find labels in each of those 4 colors. I do a pretty good job of finding labels. I had a harder time with the green ones, but I do end up finding a couple, so that worked out pretty well. So as I'm going through all of these labels, my plan is to just treat these like they're die cuts. So once I have some labels picked out, I'm just going to go through and find ones that work for each photo and kind of plop them down. And then I'll go back through and edit each one to get the cluster that I want to keep on each photo. And I think I end up adding some to every single photo on my spread. Yes, every single photo has at least one stamped die cut on it. So this whole process actually worked out pretty well. So there you can see I'm starting to kind of play with the clusters to add a couple stamped images plus a label and add them together to create little clusters on each photo. And I am thinking, of course, always about the balance of color as well. I don't want there to be 2 of the same color on any one of them. I think I make a couple exceptions like this one here. I really wanted to kind of nestle the So Fun banner with the Making Memories Together stamp and they're in the same color. I think those were the only colors that really worked. So other than that, I try to kind of keep separate colors and add multiple colors to each photo. So like taking a yellow label and a green stamp and then maybe a peach stamp. So I have things down on my photos now. Nothing is adhered yet. I've just kind of placed them down where I think I want them. And then I'm going to work on my title card. So the title card I chose is one with a sentiment on it. It says, "What I love most about my home is who I share it with." And since most of these photos were taken at home, I thought that was a pretty good card to use for a title. And I'm just going to add, you can see those little puffy letter stickers to spell out week 4 to the bottom of the card. I decided to add a label to add my date stamp, so I had to move them over. I used my Thickers alignment tool and got them perfectly aligned, but then decided I wanted to move them, so I had to move them over again, and I just did that by hand. It's actually pretty easy to get them aligned by hand, but that Thickers tool does make it even easier to get them all straight. So I am going to glue down that label now, and then I'm going to add my date stamps, and that's going to be it for my title card. I am using my tiny date stamp. This is like a smaller sized date stamp that I purchased on Amazon. Again, I'll have that link down below as well. I will be sure to link all of the things that I've used that are available in the description box below. So once I have my title card all done, I can start adhering down all of the little clusters on the other photos that I have there. I'm going to start just at the top and work my way around the page. So this first picture is of a local singer-songwriter workshop, or showcase rather, at the local brewery. Jesse actually went to that. I stayed home that night, but he was able to snap a photo of one of our friends up on stage, so I wanted to include that. And I added the Life is Beautiful stamp and then just wrote local singer-songwriter showcase at Wasser and then the date. And the next photo that I'm working on is of the dogs cuddling on blankets on the couch. There's lots of that in our house this time of year. And I used the stamp that says happy and another one that says never leaving. And I wrote, "Give me all the couch cuddles" in the little label below that. For the next one, I'm not going to do any journaling. I'm just going to add this tiny little bit of green label that I had in that bin, and then add a single little stamped heart to the top of that. And I'll come back and add some gold staples to some of these photos, just for a little bit of additional texture, something that isn't just flat paper. But I will do that at the end. So for this one, I added a stamp that says love, and this is of Troop Zero, a movie that we watched. And then I just wrote that I love weekend nights at home together watching movies. I'm a total homebody, so that's my most favorite thing to do on a weekend. The next photo is of our cat, who has been a cantankerous cat, to say the least. She has not been a very friendly cat, but she is turning over a new leaf and has started actually wanting pets and cuddles, and we just can't get over it, how changed she is. So I had to document her cuddling with me on the couch and write about how I never thought that would happen. The other cat, Nacho, the one I am documenting right now, is the exact opposite. He wants all the cuddles, and this is him sleeping on our bed, and I just wrote, you can pretty much find Nacho here every day, all day, because that's pretty much where he hangs out. So for this last one, it's a photo of a band, a local band that we went to see. It's a Grateful Dead cover band from here in town, and we always have a wonderful time, just a lot of fun going to see them. So I used the Making Memories Together stamp and the So Fun stamp and another little heart, and then just wrote love a good Dreadful Greta dance party on the label below it. And that is going to pretty much be it. Like I said, I'm going to come back with some staples just to, again, to add some additional texture, a little bit of shine. I do use gold staples in my gold stapler. That's a trick I learned from Jen Scow. It makes it easy to know which staples I'm grabbing, and I don't have to refill my stapler all the time. And then that's it. Okay, so there are some close-up photos coming up so you can see all the little details. I hope you've enjoyed watching this process, and I hope you've got some inspiration for how you can pull together a spread using pretty minimal supplies. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all back here very soon.